Welcome back to another episode of the Fish Tank. I've got E back again, which is very nice. Haven't seen her for the last month, so nice to have her here with me. I'm going to take you through the story today of where I got stuck out at the Montebello Islands. I got a lot of hate about it online, and all the boomers and the Facebook people with an Australian flag as their profile picture, or a Commodore or Ned Kelly or something like that. They really came after me. So it's a pretty good story. It's pretty funny. And yeah, I'll take you through it and a bit about how I went out to the Monties solo and how that all went. So to start the story, Montebello Islands is a group of islands off of Karratha, Dampier, Fortescue area. And it's a massive set of islands. A lot of it's marine park, and it's about 40 miles offshore. So get to the islands, you're allowed to camp out there, and then there's awesome fishing all past it. And once you get past the green zone, there's a lot of mining, like oil rigs or gas plant rigs. I'm not sure exactly what you call them, but monopods and stuff out there where a lot of people dive on. And there's some islands out there with active mining on them as well. So it's a really unique, cool part of the world. Montebello's had an atomic bomb test go off there in the early 1900s. I think it was the British and the Americans came over and they did a heap of testing, and you can still see where they let the bomb off. They let another one off where they blew up like a frigate, which is a ship. And yeah, if you go on Google Earth, you can see the big area where it blew up, and there's signs and stuff all over there saying radioactive area, blah, blah, blah. There's, that's not a real accurate example of it all. I can't remember all the information, but I did go over it in one of our YouTube videos. Anyway, so I was about to head out to the Monties for the first time, and I was going over with some mates. One of them had a cray boat, and there's going to be two other boats going over. And I just felt in the back of my head, I was like, I reckon these boys are going to bail, eh? Like,
You said that to me because I was away at work and you were like, it's 4 days of glass out, like I have to go. And you'd wanted to go for ages. And then you were like, yeah, I don't know if they'll end up coming. And then
yeah,
sure enough, they cancelled last minute and you were like, well, solo mission, first time going there.
Just felt like they were going to bail. So I was heading out there, just going to, go out behind them. And they'd been out there heaps of times, and I was just going to moor up to the cray boat, camp on there, and the whole adventure is planned by them, which is nice because we're always, the ones kind of running our own race, and you've got to plan it, do this, do that. So I was like, sweet, I won't do any planning. Anyway, driving to the boat ramp, and they're like, oh, we're not going to go. And then the others, oh yeah, I don't think we're going. And the other one's like, oh, we might head out tomorrow. I was like, well, you're not fucking coming. Anyway, I'd filled the boat up with like 500 litres of fuel, made all my food. So I'd actually done a bit of planning for this one in terms of that kind of stuff. All the rods were ready. Everything was good to go. So I pull up at the boat ramp, get on Navionics, go, fuck, I guess this is where I'm going to get out there. Launch the boat, and there's not really anyone there. So I didn't know what the tides had to be or anything like that, because at Fortescue River, which is where I launched from, you kind of need to know the tides and when you can get out and in. And then to get to the boat ramp, there's a small river which fills up on a high tide, which is salt water. So you either drive through that and wreck your car or wait for it to go down. Anyway, it all worked out for me. Got there, put the boat in, punched out to the Monties. It wasn't as good as it was meant to be, but it was still pretty decent weather. So I punched it 30, 40 miles out there. Got there, had a bit of a look around. I was like, this place is absolutely stunning. There's turtles and dolphins and whales going nuts everywhere. Water's clearest water. Not I've ever seen, but it was super, super clear. It was just magic. Really, really beautiful conditions. Gone past a few boats, just trying to get a bit of a lay of the land, looking at Navionics, and there's like bommies and rocks all over it. And I'm like, crap, I don't know if I can really go through here. So I was taking it pretty easy. Stopped up, had some lunch, and then went for a bit of a fish, caught like a couple little things, and just, had a bit of a look around that first day. Sweet. All right, where am I going to camp? Because there's like beaches and stuff everywhere. Tides aren't that big. I'll go camp near one of the charter boats. So there's like a big sailboat and a charter boat, which is a cray boat, and then they've got like a game fishing boat. I was like, well, they must have a fair idea of what they're doing, so I'll go over there. So I found this little beach, pulled up, took the swag off, took all the jerry cans off, made my little base, and then I went around for a bit of a cruise and just checked out the area again, saw like some big stingrays and stuff cruising around. It was sick, like insane place. Come back, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 in the arvo. Sun's still up. Got some like cool drone shots. Had some dinner. got everything kind of planned, and the next 3 days were going to be like the best weather ever. So I was like, I'll just have a real early night, and I'll get up early, and I'll fish hard for the next couple of days. But we're about to go to the Buccaneer Archipelago, or the Kimberley, in like a month, where I thought that we were going to have to do some rock anchoring with 2 anchors, which turns out we didn't have to do. But anyway, so I was like, I'm going to practice that. So that was half the reason I picked the spot that I went to, is it was like 2 like kind of headlands of rock that went out maybe like 20 meters, and I just rock anchored to both of them to test doing that. Yeah, I've just never done it before. So sweet, yep, did it. Awesome. Boat's not moving. But because I didn't know how far the tides came in and came out, and when I went to the spot, I wasn't there at high or low, so I knew how high the tide went or how low it went. I was there kind of like mid-tide. Anyway, I could have like checked it throughout the night, which I did, but I didn't have in mind of how high up it was coming because I didn't know where it was going to be. So I went to bed super early, and I set an alarm for every hour because I was getting up at 4 a.m. to go fishing. So I'd get up, have a look at the boat. Yep, hasn't moved. Sweet. Because I was worried that it would bang into these rocks if it moved. Whereas if I just did a single anchor, it would have just sat where it was. But anyway.
So hang on, is that because you knew it was coming up?
Yeah.
You knew the tide still had to come in and then go back out?
I knew.
And you didn't know how high or low it was going to go?
I didn't know how high it was going to go.
So you were worried the boat was going to come in too far?
Well,
and get
yeah, because I'd anchored 2 ropes either side with some slack. It could come in.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how far it could come in because where the top of the high was.
You didn't know where the top of the high would be. Yeah, radio.
But because the boat was moving, and if the tide came in heaps, then the ropes would get really tight. That'd be fine,
and
but it just
getting pulled and
it would have been fine, but I just didn't want it to come off. So I set it every hour so that if it got really tight, I could just move them and play around with it.
Yep.
Anyway, so that happened. So the ropes got a bit tight at about midnight, I think. So I moved it a bit closer to the beach because the tide was...
You let a bit of rope out?
No, I just moved the anchor points.
Oh, the anchor point.
Because you could walk up to the rocks. Anyway, I moved it a bit closer so then it could come in a bit further, but the tide was still coming up for 3 hours. But I didn't know where the tide was going to go because I didn't have the opportunity to check it. Well, I just couldn't see because I didn't go and check that camp spot at high or low tide.
Yeah.
Sweet. So I knew the high was at 3. So anyway, alarm goes off at about 2:40, I just hear chug, chug, chug. This massive diesel boat comes past, which was the charter's other cray boat, or another charter's cray boat. 2:40, looked out, I was fucked because I was waking up every hour and I was excited. So I was like, 20 more minutes would be sweet. Looked out, boat's sitting there, sweet. Get up at 20 minutes, the alarm at 3, and that boat, because it like went straight past where I was camping, had just pushed the ropes into the few meters maximum they could go in just as the high tide started dropping. So it's pushed the boat in, the tide's dropped at that time, and then now the boat's in a little bit of water and a little bit of sand. So I just like crazily dug for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and made absolutely no improvement. I could just see the tide going down super quick and the boat was just stuck. So I was like, all right, well, that's annoying because I'm going to miss half the day's fishing, but it's all good. I'll just wait till high tide and I'll dig a bit of a trench around the boat and I'll just sit here for 8 hours. I'll fish off the rocks or I'll go for a dive because there was bombies and stuff around me.
I don't think you were that chill about it because I remember you messaging me being like, I don't want to wait for the next high tide because I'm going to miss fishing. You were like, I need to get this boat off, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that was a bit after because I was like, all right, well, sweet, whatever. Like, I have other stuff to do. I was just annoyed because it's a bit of a mission to get out there and I've kind of tried to do everything right, but I've stuffed it up anyway. So I got on the boat and I was like, when's the next high tide? And because it was neaps, the tides were getting smaller. And when that high tide that pushed the boat up was the top of the tides that were starting to get smaller. So I can't remember exactly how long it was, but I think it was like 4 or 5 days. It was going to be 4 or 5 days until that tide was high enough
to the same height
to where the boat got stuck. because I know it got stuck at the tip of the high because that's what I was trying to figure out and I was
Watching.
playing around. So then I was like, oh, fuck me. Like, now this is annoying because the tide that day, the high that day wasn't until like 3 or 4 in the Arvo, so I was going to lose a whole day. And it was like, I can't remember. It was maybe like 50 centimetres or 60 centimetres below where I was. So I was like, maybe I will be able to dig to that, or maybe it might just be not completely accurate
quite right.
and I might be able to get out.
Yeah.
So then got the GoPro out. I dug for like an hour and I've like got a time lapse of it. It looks for like 1 second I dug and then it looks like I did nothing. And I was like, fuck this. I'd seen when I got there was another cray boat because in WA or Karratha, a lot of the guys up here, like they're on good money, they buy cray boats to go out to the Monties, like second-hand ones. They do it up so it's like a big touring vessel and they take a tinny and a jet ski with them and they go out there for 2 to 4 weeks and just have the time of their life. It's awesome. Something I would definitely think of doing if I was going to live up here long term and I had money. So I was like, all right, I know there's a cray boat in the bay next to me, but they couldn't see me because I'm on this skinny little beach. So I've climbed up this mountain, which it's not really a mountain. It's like, I don't know,
A hill.
Yeah, it takes like 6-7 minutes to walk top. It was steepish, but yeah, like 5-minute walk. And there's a little bit of service up top. All right, and I've got service. So I ran down and I tried to like reach out to this dude. I was yelling out. So I was making hand gestures and yelling out and their boat was spinning around and like it was spinning very slowly. So I'd like yell out for a couple minutes and then it would spin and they couldn't see me. And anyway, I was like, oh, fuck it. He's not going to be able to hear me. Got back up on the hill, rang some of the boys that were meant to come out and they're like, oh, we got a mate down there who's got a cray boat. And I was like, oh, it could be this dude. And anyway, they were all messaging and in that time, I'd go down to my boat and I'd get on the radio and ask if anyone could help me. I was trying to get onto the charter group and all that. Then I'd go back up the hill, see if any of the boys replied, and then they weren't replying. And I was just going up and down this hill, like up one side and then down the other. So it was like 5 minutes up, which is fine. But then to get to where the other boat was maybe like a 15-minute walk and then 15. It was just taking time. I was like, all right, well, this isn't working. Did a bit more digging. And I was like, this guy's got to like go fishing or something soon. Like he's on his boat. It's going to come past. Anyway, 2 minutes later, he just shoots past on the jet ski. And I'm like, hey. And he didn't see me. Or maybe he saw and waved and just kept going. And then a little bit later on, the charter boat just drove past. And I was like waving down him. Like you could see my boat was like 20 metres up on the sand stuck. And they just kept going. And then I got someone on the radio. Like no one was answering the radio. There was a few boats I'd seen out there. It was a yachty. And he's like, oh yeah, mate, I can come give you a hand. He's like, I've got a tender with a 10 horsepower motor on it. And I was like, well, you're not going to be able to help me, mate. Because I was thinking the cray boat would be able to pull me out with their winch. They'll just be able to pull me off the sand. So going up and down the hill, nothing's working. I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to sit here for 5 days or hope someone drives past because no one's answering the radio and the boys aren't getting back to me and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to ring Maritime or anything like that. Like it's like I can just wait it out. I was like, what do I do? I was like, I've got flares and stuff, and I didn't know the rules about letting them off. So I rang Maritime, and I was like, this is my situation. I'm going to be stuck here for 5 days. Can I let a flare off to try and get someone's attention? Because no one's getting on the radio. I don't want to let my EPIRB or anything like that off because I will be able to get out of here. He was like, yep, that's exactly what the situation is for them. Obviously, yeah, if someone comes, you got to record it all and blah, 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 blah. But he's like, if you can't get onto anyone and you're going to be stuck and like if you run out of food or water or anything like that.
Yeah, it can be really dangerous.
It's like a, emergency saving device. So was I in a massive dire emergency? No, but I had to wait for 5 days and like who knows what could happen in that time, Like what have I got? This is me being drastic and just being the devil's advocate because all the boomers just absolutely roasted me for letting off the flare. But like, you do run out of food and the tide didn't come up and you're still stuck, or if you got bitten by, spider, snake, anything like that and you're stuck and no one knows what's going on, you're in a bit of trouble. So anyway, I let off a smoke flare, which does absolutely nothing. I could hardly even see it. It was just a waste of time. And then I let off one of those ones that you shoot into the air, and within 30 seconds, the guy on the jet ski, he came over and he's like, what have you fucking done? And I was like, oh mate, she's been a bit of a moron. I've been trying to get your attention, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, it's all good. I was like, you reckon when the tide comes up, we can bring your cray boat in here and winch it out? Like, you'd have a winch on it, big one. He's like, yeah, no worries. He's like, do you want to try and drag it out now with the jet ski? I was like, oh, I don't think we'll pull it out, but if you can, go for it. So we tied the jet ski up to it. He went and got a bit of a bigger rope, and it was sitting horizontal, the boat, because I'd anchored from the front and the back to the rocks. Put it on, the boat slid straight down, going forward. Sweet. Both looked at each other. I didn't expect that. He's like, I'll go get a, I'm not sure exactly what you call it, but it's like a pulley which you can tie the rope around to get more leverage on it, so it gives it more power. So he's gone and got one of them from his boat. We've tied that around a rock. His father-in-law's coming at a watch because it's pretty funny what's going on. They're just roasting me, which is all good, well deserved. And we've put the boat on to that pulley system, then to the jet ski, and just came straight down on the water, easy as.
A few revs of the Sea-Doo.
Yeah, Sea-Doo, just gunned it and got straight down. And we're just like, this is sick. Like, did not expect that to happen at all. Like, we're stoked for it. Pretty funny. Anyway, he ended up being the bloke the boys knew, but we just hadn't been able to communicate that back to each other yet because I was, they weren't getting back to me. It was early in the morning, blah, blah, blah. Gave me a hand. I was like, oh, we'll catch up for a beer later. So got the boat out. The tide was still dropping. Like, this is like 6 hours later. It's still going down. It's like, it might have been like 8 or 9 hours later. It was a weird tide. It was dropping for ages because it didn't start getting back up to, like I said, 3 or 4 in the arvo. So it was like lunchtime. We got it onto some water, but it was still dropping. So now it's down on the water, but
you've got to move quick
it's
or
sunk.
it's going to
Well,
beached again.
Well, it was beached because we couldn't get over these rocks. Like, we weren't going to drag the boat over these rocks. So he's like, we'll just wait for the tide to come up. So I'm beached again, but we knew I'd 100% was going to be able to get out from where I was because we're ages from where I got stuck. So I went for a dive, missed grabbing a few crays, and I missed shooting a red emperor in 2 meters of water from like me to the phone away, like a meter. I just spear bounced off it, which was like, I was just thinking in my head, oh, I'm going to grab a cray, going to shoot a red emperor. Like, this completely makes up for the morning, got to stuff that up. Anyway, eventually tide came up, shot out in the boat, went out to this area that I just kind of picked that I was going to fish, and I can't remember exactly what I caught, but it's all in the video. Like, I got like a nearly 80 centimetre red emperor, a massive trout, 2 massive rankin, and I don't know if I got the Chinaman that day or the next day, but like just like 5 epic fish in a couple of hours. I was like, this is easy.
Stoked.
This is like, I came out here with no plan, didn't know where to go, blah, blah. I was like, this is so good. Anyway, I was like, well, that's enough for the day. It's been a bit of a day already. Came back in with the sun up so I could plan all the boat and that nicely. Had a beautiful sunset as I was coming in, like purples, like golden, yellows, reds. It was amazing. Anyway, came back in, glass conditions, and I went and pulled up next to Scarlett's cray boat, Scarlett in Georgia, and he's a concreter. So if you had ever worked for one of those concreters, they love a beer and they got heaps of yarn. So we basically got on the boat with him, Georgia, and his father-in-law, and had a few beers and talked a heap of rubbish, and they roasted me, which was good. And told me like a heap about the place and like all the bombies and stuff I was seeing. Like, they're quite easy to drive around and they're really visible once you get to them, but there are some dangerous spots, obviously. And gave me a bit more perspective on the place, so it was really nice. And then told me where I was camping is a beach that everyone goes and takes a shit on. So it's just like this tiny little beach.
Do not camp there.
And all the yachties and like boaties, like they kind of just go there in the morning and take a shit because it's like hidden away. But it's also like a radioactive area because it's right near the atomic bomb that got dropped off. Yeah.
You didn't tell me that.
So it's not super, or it is pretty close. So it's not right next to where it is, but it is very close. So I was like, yeah, probably wouldn't camp there again. And as you could see from the angle of the beach, it was just a bad place to go. And I didn't know. I just looked at the charter boat, saw there was a cray boat there. I was like, oh, this must be a good area to go. Beach looked fine and nice to me. Anyway, next time I've been to another beach, and there's no way you'd get stuck there. Like, and that's why I think I got roasted a lot, is because it's actually quite difficult to get stuck.
Yeah.
I picked the one beach that it is easy. But yeah, went out the next day and had a very similar day. Caught like a heap of coral trout and it was sick, just insane fishing. I found this ledge. It went from 30 metres to 8 metres and it was just filled with coral trout. Like, would have been epic to dive. There was a big ranking on it. Caught heaps of different fish, like Malabar cod. Caught another Chinaman there, long-nosed emperor, just like, and super shallow on like light gear. So that was, heaps of fun. And then I did a bit more exploring. Has one of the best surf waves in the world out at the Montes, which I never knew about. They used to do tours and stuff out there. They don't do them anymore. But yeah, this place is just insane. I'm just loving it. Went back to that spot and camped again. Obviously, moored the boat up very differently and had no issues. Swam out to the boat that next morning because I moored it a fair way out now, just because I was a bit PTSD getting stuck. And because I was leaving like really early in the morning, like 4 a.m, it was still like completely dark, just using like navionics in the mood to get out, but there wasn't really much moon either, which didn't help. And then it's probably like a 50 to 80 metre swim out to the boat, which in the dark, and I'm not like the best swimmer, and I'm not, like, I'm confident in the water, but I hate, like, swimming in the dark out to the boat is scary.
That's
like,
not it.
I don't care
That
who
is
you are,
not it.
and on your own, in water that, like, there's heaps of sharks out the Montes. You just like, anyway, so I got out there, and then when I got back to land, Scarlett had sent me this video, and I'll put it on here. It's on our YouTube video, of all the sharks around his boat, which was only, as the crow flies, he was only like 200, 300 metres from me, but there was a headland that separated us, so we couldn't see each other. And every night when he pulled up, because it's a common place to pull up, I think, at the Montes, and heaps of boats and big boats go there that probably throw fish and that overboard and attract sharks. Back in the day, I don't think they do it anymore. I think they got in trouble. He was telling me anyway. I can't remember how many fish are in the video either, but it's like 6 massive like bull sharks all swimming around his boat. And I'm only like 200 metres away from him as the crow flies, swimming out to my boat. So I was glad he sent that to me after I'd already done it and not when I was going out there. But yeah, I had no issues, got out, went for another fish and kind of cruised back home. Got the boat in. And yeah, that was kind of it. Caught some awesome fish, insane scenery, had beautiful conditions, and was just itching to get back out there. But yeah, I put this video up of me getting stuck and then using a flare and explaining that I called
Maritime.
Yeah, like the WA Maritime, whatever they're called, to confirm it, because I didn't want to get in trouble for it. Anyway, all the gear, no idea, fucking trade your boat in, blah, 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 or just roast, like hundreds and hundreds of roast comments, which I find hilarious. Like,
They were actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
I think we looked through them together and we were
like,
laughing.
But,
it's like, you don't deserve to have a boat. And
yeah,
like
trade
weird
it
stuff.
in, yeah, like, just all these boomers that have probably never been fishing or gone out or got no idea, just sitting at home, doom scrolling Facebook, and commenting on things on other people that has got nothing to do with them. It's just so
They were funny.
But yeah, I actually kind of welcome all that because I did fuck up, so roast me away. But since then, I've been back out to the Montes again on my own, which I'll do another video on. But if you are planning on going out there, probably big things to know are the tides on what you can launch and retrieve. I can't remember what they are off the top of my head, but send me a message and I'll let you know what they are. I think it's like over 2 meters to launch. It's the same to retrieve, and then you don't want it being really high because that river floods and you can't get your car through. If you go from Fortescue, if you go from Dampier, you can go whenever you want. And like Neeps is obviously nice because you don't have the big tidal movements and the water's nice and flat if there's no wind, but also no run, no fun. So you want a bit of movement going through to help with the fishing. And yeah, what else about it?
Would you say it's up there with the best island camping you've done? Like, we've just done a trip through the Buccaneer as well.
Yeah.
Which was stunning. What do you think's prettier?
Oh, Montes is probably my favourite at the moment, eh?
Really?
Because Em hasn't been yet.
Damn it.
The weather, whenever because she's still been working, has not been lining up at all when she's back. We're in Karratha right now. It's been like 25 knots every day. Tomorrow is actually a really nice day, so we're going to go fishing, but she flies home tomorrow night. So we're going to do an early mission and send it and then go back. But yeah, I can't wait to get back out there as much as I can and dive. Like, the water clarity is insane and the amount of fish out there is...
Yeah, I was going to say that, and some of the best fishing ever too. Like, you laid out there, you caught heaps of big fish, which to go when you've never been there before and you've got 3 or 4 days and then catch that many fish is actually pretty good. Like we've caught fish like that in Exmouth, but it's taken us a few months to get
Yeah.
head around it. So
It was a bit of luck. Like, I think most of my fishing is luck, but I just generally don't give up until I get something, and that's why
you just
often-
won't go home till you've caught
yeah,
something.
which is often why I get in situations because I'm coming back in the dark and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say sometimes things make it look easy, but it still never is easy. Like I still went, so I was 40 miles out at the Monties. I still drove 20 or 30 miles past that to go fishing.
To fish, yeah.
Like I didn't just get to the Monties and just fish that area. I then went another 20, 30 miles to an area where I was like, people probably come out here and fish here, and then they fish just past it because they've already, in their mind, they're like 40 miles, I've already driven ages.
Yeah.
So I still drove a long way and was lucky to get some good fish quite quickly. But the first day was pretty much a write-off in terms of fishing. I caught one rankin, but I didn't really fish because I was looking around. And then the second day I was stuck until like 2. So I only had like 4, maybe it wasn't that late because I drove a fair way. Maybe I was stuck till like lunchtime, but I was up since like 3. So yeah, punched it out, caught fish quick, came back. And then that next day I got all the trout and that. And then I headed home afterwards. But yeah, it was a bucket list trip for me for ages. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it for a while. And yeah, I was able to get out there in a 5.5 metre boat on my own, solo. Our boat uses like 1-to-1 for fuel. It uses a bit less when it's good conditions, 0.7 to 0.8 a litre per nautical mile. But I took 400 litres, pretty sure, and I came back with 100 litres. So
Yeah, you use next to nothing.
yeah, like, and if we're going to go for longer, you just take more fuel, put it on the beach. You know,
Ditch
that's
it.
what I did. Like I always leave on the beach what I need to get home plus a little bit, and then everything in the boat is good
You
to
can
go.
use it up.
You just use
Yeah.
it. Or if you have heaps more jerrys, just get everything out and put it on the beach while you're not fishing, because you don't want as least weight in your boat, so you can go fishing and exploring more while you're out there. Because yeah, it is a bit of a mission to get there. But most people in Karratha fish like 30, 40 mile out anyway, which is the same distance to the Monties. But yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. Definitely, if you're going to go out there, try and go for like at least a week to really experience and explore it if you're not from up here. But yeah, if you're up here and you can get out there from time to time, 3 or 4 days is good. I know people that just go out there for the day and back, but their boats can go a little bit quicker than mine. Yeah, what else do you want to know, eh?
What else is there to know? You wouldn't do it in a smaller boat, like a tinny?
Oh yeah, I would have done it in our old boat if the weather was sweet.
Yeah.
Because the
Suppose if
ocean
it
up,
blows up and you're 40 mile offshore though.
yeah, you just camp in the islands. But
Just have to
the
wait.
ocean's up here, it's like short, sharp chop, which bounces you like slap around and move around, but you're not going to get like hit by a big wave or anything. So you can just putt it back. Like Scarlett's father-in-law, he went over in a 420 Stacer or something, just followed the cray boat. Obviously,
right.
he's got a bit of a backup if something
Yeah.
happens, but the thing, if you get over to places like that and you've got a small boat as well, is you're using bugger all fuel. So
Yeah,
you can
you
cruise
just
around
drop
for
around.
ages in it.
Yeah, that's cool. When are you going to take me there? That's probably the main
As soon as
question.
possible. Starting,
Come on, weather gods.
it's nearly November now, and it just gets hotter and windier up here. The
Yeah.
diving goes a bit out of the question, but yeah, we have a gap. We're going to go there as soon as we can. I want to spend as much time as I can out there while we're here. But yeah, I've been out there a second time, which I'll give you a little recap on. But yeah, just wanted to touch on the story of me getting stuck, getting harassed by boomers that all know
Getting
better than
roasted.
me, and yeah.
Even some kids though, some people commenting were like 12 or 13 or 14-year-olds
bring
from
it on.
Karratha were like, oh, what have you done?
Yeah,
How do you
no
know what
idea.
about these?
And then after that, we
Which is
had
hilarious.
a boat show in Karratha, or not a boat show, the Finacle, which is like their show that
Show.
rides and everyone sells stuff. And we had our boat on show there, and everyone was like, "How'd you go at the Monties?"
Which I must admit, that was actually quite entertaining seeing
Yeah.
a bunch of like 12 or actually Scarlett's mum come up
come
too
to me,
as
she
well. It was
roasted
like,
me. That was funny.
oh, how did you go at the Monty?
Yeah.
Which was so funny.
But yeah, if you're not sure about letting the safety gear off, this is what the bloke said to me when I was on the phone to him. He said they can't stipulate exactly what you can use it for, So they can't say only use in case of engine failure or this or that, because it's up to the individual on what they think is dangerous enough to let it off, because they don't want to be in a big legal thing with it and you don't. But obviously, if you're just in the bay and, you know, your sounder turns, I don't know, like a really dumb thing and you let it off, well,
Not
that's
the best.
obviously not a good idea.
Yeah.
And I think what everyone's concerns in that is out there, obviously there is mining and oil and gas and all that kind of stuff. I was on the radio, I was on the emergency channel, I was on everything and no one was
No one's
answering
getting
me.
back.
So, and there are choppers that fly over there, but you can see what's going on. You're on an island with literally nothing around you. So completely understand everyone's thoughts on that. But they really didn't have any idea. And I clarified it all because I don't want to get in trouble because we go fishing all the time. But yeah, they said if you deem it an emergency and you can warrant it, which I would say being stuck on land with really not
On
that
your
much
own.
food and water for that amount of time, and then just hoping the tide does come back up and you can get out, or let it off and the legend next door comes and rips you out in an hour and everyone's safe and happy, I think that is a win-win
Win-win.
situation.
Yeah, perfect.
But if you think I'm still wrong, roast me. Get on our Instagram, our YouTube,
Keep
go
it
and
coming. We love
give
the
it to us.
comments.
Yeah.
We love the roast, especially of Twig Boy. If you know Twig well, if you get a chance to roast him, it's always
it.
well received.
I love
so
it.
definitely do that.
But yeah, that's Monty's trip. If you get a chance to get out there, 100% do it. Any questions, hit us up. We love sharing our stories and our adventures. And if you think you can do it better, go and fucking do it yourself.
Do it. And if you want to watch that, but the video version, check it out on YouTube.
Yeah,
the whole thing is up there with the exact case of events that happened, and it
The
is
boat
a very
getting ripped
good
out by a
watch.
sea doo and everything's up there. It's pretty good. And like, I didn't film it super well because I was just trying to get out.
Trying to get out of there,
But I did put the GoPro down and it shows the boat coming out, which is
epic.
it's pretty funny. But yeah, thanks for listening to another episode of The Fish Tank. Good to have E back.
Yes.
And we're having a fish off tomorrow, which will be a YouTube
Yeah.
in probably like a month or two from now.
So pick your battle. Oh, what is it called? Like, pick your player. Pick your player, E-Dog or Twig Boy. I'm not going to brag, but I do have tickets on myself.
Oh, damn. Yeah, she's been pretty good on the rod lately.
Yes.
She usually outfishes everyone, which is good. But the spot I've been to tomorrow, which we don't have heaps of time to fish, has been very good, but the last couple of times I've been there, it hasn't been super eventful.
Yeah.
So we're going to just try and get 1 or 2 fish. We're going to cook them up out on the boat because we haven't eaten fish for a while and we don't have time to get back in and do all that. And that's going to be our day.
Yes.
If all goes to plan.
So stay tuned for that. But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Hope you enjoyed Twig's story of getting bogged.
Yeah.
And if you get a chance to roast him, take it.
Yeah. Thanks, E. See ya.
Bye.